Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Daily D, and as we continue our series, Your Health Can't Wait. So today's topic is going to be about the types of nutrition that you can follow, a nutrition guide, if you will, very simple things. But before we get there, let's kind of recap. So we need to all understand that there is no perfect body or health, and our health is always going to be a challenge in our lives. And many people confuse health with being, let's say, skinny or fit. Now, those are obviously some signs of maybe a destination, but they really don't equate to good health. I know very many thin people who are in poor health, and I know very many people who are in good shape but are in poor health. And the reason those are is because of nutrition. So we're going to talk about that today. Now, we talked about the ultimate body and how if you had to keep that one body, which we live in, where we live, if you have to maintain it the rest of your life, you might as well really take care of it. And we've also talked about acid. Acid is the leading cause to disease or dis-ease in a body. So today, let's talk about some of the things that cause disease, and it really leads from acid. So let's talk about the things that do that. So number one thing that causes your body to produce acid, and which can cause serious illness or harm or lack of energy in your body, is processed foods. So anything that you eat that's processed, and I don't mean processed like cooked processed, I mean when you buy things from a bag, right? If something has to be preserved to be put in a bag, it probably isn't the best for you. Now, I understand that life is busy and some of us are very busy, including myself, and it's hard to eat really good food, but processed food is just the number one cause because they have to add so many preservatives and so many different chemicals to make sure that that food can have a longevity, because we know if you had fresh food, it does not last very long. You know, buy an apple at the grocery store and leave it on your counter for a few weeks and it's going to be bad. We know that, but if you put it in a bag and they add preservatives, it could last a whole year. So it's just kind of a different thought. So for number one is processed foods. Number two is going to be the drinks, and I'll tell you about the drinks because the drinks are a lot of different things. It's the sodas because of the caffeine, because of the sugar. It's the alcohol because of the alcohol and the sugar that it produces. Those two things right there, just those two drinks, will really ruin a healthy lifestyle. And if you add some of the other drinks like alcohol alone, but then you add like, let's say, beer, and beer is high in barley and hops, which you can argue that may be beneficial to your body, I would tell you that the way that they ferment it is actually a negative for you. So if you suffer from, let's say, acid reflux or a lot of gas, it's typically because of the consumption of these two types of drinks, carbonation and as well as sugar and caffeine. So those are very negative things on your body. They also, sugar and caffeine and alcohol really they cause dehydration. And dehydration is a huge deal. It actually plays a big role in how we become effective in the world. Man, I got blurry for a second. Here we go. And caffeine and alcohol really lead to the dehydration in your body. When it's not hydrated properly, cannot be healthy. It drains your energy. So let's talk about some of the things you can eat. And I just talked about 2 or 3 things about things you shouldn't eat. I can talk about a lot of things, but I don't want to be here to tell you what you shouldn't do. I'm going to tell you what you could do, okay? So here's some simple rules. If you follow these rules, I promise you're going to see 10x improvement in your health. Just these simple rules. Number one, every time you set a plate of food in front of you, no matter where it is, a restaurant, fast food, restaurant, homemade, try to get 70% of the plate to be a vegetable or a green. Okay, 70%. Now that's hard to do, but I'm telling you, 70%. The more green, the better. And actually, let's talk about that. So greens are a counterweight or a counterpart of acid. Anytime you eat something green, and I don't mean like a green lollipop, I mean something green fresh, you actually counter acid in your body. So think about greens, think about salads, right? Now, every time you add salad dressing, you're adding sugar, you're adding preservatives, so you're actually counteracting the positivity of a salad. So I recommend, by the way, if you get a salad, put some lime juice or lemon juice on there. Those both they may sound acidic. Lime and lemon are probably the best things your body can take in instead of dressing, because it really will promote good and healthy lives. All right, next, water. Now, I mean, I don't have to tell everybody to drink water, but you should know this. You're probably wondering, how much water should I get? You should get, in ounces, half of your body weight a day. Half of your body weight a day. So if you weigh 100 pounds and you're probably very thin, 50 ounces, you weigh 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces of water. Very simple. So 70% greens on your plate or vegetables. And by the way, if you can't get that on the plate, what I would do is order a side salad before your meal, and that would help. A side salad, don't drown it in dressing, eat a side salad, okay? Then get 50% of your body weight in water. Next, I'll recommend, and I learned all these things, by the way. Next, protein. This is a huge deal. See, have you ever met somebody who says, or have you ever said this to somebody, man, you don't eat very much. Why are you overweight? I know you probably haven't said that to somebody, but maybe some people say that. When you meet somebody who's overweight and they're like, I don't know how I'm overweight. I don't eat very much. I only eat 1 meal a day. I only eat 2 meals a day, and I'm very small. I don't even finish my food. You ever met those people? Well, the reason that they go through this spell of weight gain, even though they don't eat, is because they don't eat anything that's beneficial or has nutrition for their body. They don't eat any vegetables. They're not focused on proteins, and protein is a meat. Now you can get plant-based proteins. That's not something I'm very familiar with, but proteins can be beef, chicken, turkey, not pork. And pork can be a protein, but it's very fatty, and we'll talk about that next. But think about proteins, things that work. Now, protein, for an example, is the thing that your muscles run on. That's why people talk about drinking protein shakes. It's because that's what your muscles build with. Now, when I think about body composition, like how somebody feels and looks, muscle plays a big part of that. But if you don't eat any protein, you can't either maintain and you can't build muscle. So when somebody says I don't eat very much and they eat a mini burger but they eat a large fry, or they eat a bag of chips instead of eating anything else, or they eat pizza all the time instead of eating, actually the burger would be better than the pizza because it's got more protein. You see, when you're eating proteins, what you're doing is you're feeding your muscles and keeping your muscle groups healthy. Now, muscle is a big part of the consumption of your body, and you should always work on getting muscle either sustained or growth. You don't want to lose muscle, so you must always consume protein. So how much protein should you take? 75% in grams of protein of your body weight. Very simple, 75%. 75%. So if you weigh 100 pounds, 75 grams of protein. If you weigh 200 pounds, 150 grams of protein. And if you don't know how to weigh protein or you don't know how to do it, just Google how many ounces, right? How many ounces in a chicken breast. And you can usually see those things. You can ask the waiter at the restaurant. You can Google it. You can use the Myfitnesspal app. We'll tell you that too. So you got to think about these things. I know these are only very simple. By the way, I only have one more. Last is fats. Now fats are, man, they're bad for us, but there are some good fats. But just think about it this way. You don't want to eat fatty foods. Just think about that, okay? I know fatty foods are delicious. Trust me, I know that. But fatty foods are like French fries, a pork chop that's really fatty. And you know how you know something's really fatty? Is when it's really delicious. Now, I'm not here to tell you not to eat delicious food. I'm just here to tell you fat is a bad thing, and you should have no more than 25% of your calories in fat. And so, that's right, 0.025, so it's 2.5% of your calories in fat. So for an example, if you had a 2,000 calorie diet, you would try to stay around 50 grams of fat in your diet. Now, I know this may all sound complex. Let me tell you something. What I would tell you is just pick one or two of these things and stick to it. Easy one, 75% greens. Half of your body weight in ounces of water. Just those two things alone will already change your whole lifestyle. I know when I implemented those two things, it made a lot of difference for me. In fact, I consume probably my body weight in water every day in ounces. And I try my best to get a salad. That doesn't always work, but anytime I go to a restaurant, I say, can I get a salad, please? And you try not to order so much dressing because the dressing is really where you're getting all the acid. So these are just some simple tips to promote health. But remember that health is a lifestyle. It's not a one-time occurrence. You can't eat a salad and think you're going to be healthy. And by the way, eating salads alone isn't going to make you any healthier. Salads do not have any protein in them unless you add chicken, unless you add beef, unless you add turkey to them. A salad by itself is not a health plan. Salads may promote a good green mix, but when you drown it in dressing, it doesn't help you. It's actually an acid production. So I want to tell you something. I want to end this, and then we're going to go into tomorrow's topic, which is going to be good. But here's what I'll tell you. Don't think about this as weight loss. Think about this as a plan for health. You see, that's the difference. Many people go into eating a salad for weight loss. Screw the weight loss. You don't want to lose weight. You want to be healthy. And by the way, when you're healthy, you will lose weight. Does that make sense? It's not because I'm telling you don't want to lose pounds. You're going to lose pounds because you stop drinking sodas, alcohol. And by the way, you can drink some of these things if you want. I know I can't ask you to be, just to get rid of everything in your life. I can tell you this: cut them out. If you're going to drink the soda, at least still get the water, right? Consume the water needed for the day. If you're going to still eat bad, at least try to get the salad in. Force yourself to eat the salad before you eat anything else. And by the way, if you do that first, it helps. But it's not about weight. It's about health, right? It's about health. I don't want you to go through life with no energy, with poor drive, and poor performance. I don't want you. Peak performance is good energy. It's good health. It's less acid in your body. And by the way, the less acid in your body, the more likely you're going to prevent disease like cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks. All of those things are counteracted when you lower your acidity. And if you went yesterday and clicked on the link and ordered those pH tabs, good. Use them. I ordered some just because I kept on thinking about it. I should probably do it. So I ordered some, and I'll show you next week possibly how they work. All right, guys. So I appreciate your time today. I wish you nothing but health, wealth, success, but most importantly, freedom. We'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.